All right. Hey, good morning. Saturday morning, back with you here on the channel. Hopefully, you checked out some of the videos and things that we did earlier this week, and we threw in a couple extra ones and some stuff. So, looks like everybody really enjoyed the Smith Model 10 videos that since we had brought it out, and the last two shows before that, we had kind of talked about them. Kind of figured, you know what, since we got them out, let's show them again because I think most everybody sub to the channel or watches the channel can't get tired of that. And of course, watching the stuff from last week's show where we compared the old vintage Model 29 to the current one, the Model 10, the Dash 10, rather, and 6.5. So, and how much I actually really enjoy that. And so, all right, and then of course, we tore down a Model Series 80 1911 to kind of get a better understanding. The reason I kind of did that was because I had obviously heard it a lot through the shops and everything like that, but recently kind of heard it, just kind of the it's almost kind of obnoxious, but when I just kept hearing it getting brought up over and over again by people that claim to be gunsmiths or something like that and really don't even know what a Series 80 1911 truly is or how it works or anything like that. So that's kind of why I wanted to show that video and show the breakdown to help other people that want to actually bother to want to know exactly what it is, because I'm sure if you're kind of getting into 1911s, you hang around the shops a little bit, you always hear that term being thrown around. So, all right, let's go ahead and read through some comments here, and let's go through with that. No particular order, but here we go. And then if your comment wasn't read, obviously took place after production of a show or whatnot. We got some other things on the table here, and a kind of a Underdog revolver of my collection, my current collection, that does go out to the range once every while. I've had it for a little bit. It's kind of more of a recent acquirement, and I say that because I really don't buy anything anymore. I would say this is probably within a year, maybe a year or a little bit more that I've had this, and it's kind of remained in the collection. It's kind of one of those underdogs in the collection, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and grab your comments here and read them. We got one here from Squib 1911. Good to see you and hear from you, Squib. As we got coffee going this morning. Good morning. And as we're entering into fall weather, it's awesome. The mornings and the nights are starting to really cool down, which is, gotta love that. Middays are still a little bit warm out here, at least in our neck of the woods. Well, I guess our neck of the sand. But anyway, here we go. Squib, always good to hear from you and see you on the channel, Squib. Awesome guy. Awesome channel, by the way, too. He's got a lot of cool stuff. He did one that I really liked where he was out by the bridge and the piers and the harbor area and everything. It reminded me a lot of going to the pier and the harbor areas in the water with my grandpa when I was really young. Yeah, he'd load me up in the van and we'd go out there, and of course I'd throw a tantrum and have to go buy some toy or something. God bless my grandfather. All right. Good morning, Bat Jack. I have my coffee while watching the following Sunday, 21st September 25. I worked 10 hours on Saturday. Wow. What were you doing working Saturday? Actually, most of us probably do. Because it seems like when you work a job, it's like if you want weekends off or something, you're like, it's like, like giving garlic to a vampire. Anyway, so today feels like a normal at-home Saturday. I'm back to work again tomorrow. I know the feeling. Thank you for showing the differences between old and new. Also, thanks for a look at your new outdoor setup. Yeah, all right. If you didn't catch that, we did kind of show you a little bit of the outdoor setup, what's going on, what I've actually been busy doing, getting baked out there in this heat. So we actually taking a break this week and didn't do anything out there, waiting for the weather to kind of cool down a little bit. So um, I've been wanting to do videos on some of that stuff out there, but it's really hard to do it because just trying to film it and all that. So I always give credit definitely to like there's one channel it's really awesome, Essential Craftsman. He's really good. He shows a lot of framing, carpentry, and stuff like that, which I used to do in the very when my younger years. I was a carpenter's assistant, and mostly I was not a professional framer or carpenter by far, or a concrete masonry anything like that. So, but I did help out a lot with those jobs. That was a lot of my younger working history, long before I got into doing any of the, firearm stuff. All right, Crazy Scotsman. Being persistent on the range is key. Let me make this a little bit bigger because I'm getting really hard to see things. Oh, come on. Shows you how wonderful I am with computers. Um, Especially with a snubby, but it comes into play for any firearm in general. You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna throw you this right in there right now. The best person I've ever seen shoot a snubby is probably Greg at Lion Quest Fitness. He's really good with it. He practices a lot with it. That's some living proof right there. If you really want to do it, you can get out there and do it. Yeah, you know what? I mean, watching Lion Quest fitness videos on shooting snubbies and stance, and grip, and all that. It's just the videos he's produced out there with that information is invaluable. I can't imagine the amount of work he's put into doing that because he's really good. Seen it many times over the years where even law enforcement fail in this regard and basically only shoot during qualifications, which is scary at best. That is a lot of that is very true. So many only shoot during qual, um, and then that's when they start panicking. Oh, I gotta get to the range or something like that. If even if they do that, so that's kind of scary. Proficiency is time spent on the range. I am lucky and blessed to have multiple 29s. I enjoy carrying the 4-inch and the shoulder rig. Wow. Oh yeah. 4-inch Model 29 is something I've never had. I've never even shot one. So, there you go. So definitely that's cool that you have a 4-inch. All right, Jeffrey Richardson, beautiful 29s, great looking concrete work, nice table. Thank you very much. That was the first concrete slab I ever did on my own, really, obviously with the help from my friend that has done those. His was a CB in the Navy, really good friend of mine, close friend of mine. He's also from the island. So, all right, Warren Ness. Hey, that's always good to hear from you, Warren. I love you guys over there. You guys are awesome. Hi, Bad Jack. Hope you're doing well, and I am. I hope you are doing well as yourself. Thank you for comparing the old and versus the new. Very informative. Technology has improved to make products more easily usable and safer for us to enjoy. Have a great week. Thank you. Yeah. You know what? And speaking of that, I'm going to chime in on my own opinion on that. I do believe and feel the Series 80 1911 is safer to carry. If you are going to choose to carry a 1911, cocked and locked, as they would say, a Series 80 would definitely be the choice that I would want. Just that added safety and then also good, there because you only have one leg and you don't want to blow that a hole into that. All right, Slim Fire, morning JW, and another great talk show. I also like the Model 29 and purchased my first in 1989 with a 6-inch and had a 8 3/8 barrel. Also, I used to have an 8 3/8. I had sold mine off. Um, I kind of miss it. I wish in some ways I wish I would have kept it, but there was things that I needed to get done, such as the outdoor, my backyard remodeling and stuff like that. So being that I needed to do that and wanting to do that, the guns took the sacrifice and provided me once again with something I really needed. And in a way, they helped me out once again. They brought me a lot of joy when I had them, and they gave me the ability to do some other things that I needed do. So hopefully they go to a very good owner that will take good care of them. It's awesome that you are taking care of your mom. Yes, I do, because I feel like she spent a lot of her life taking care of me, and now it's time that I take care of her. You have to pay it back. I can't count how many times my mom, when I was younger, has helped me out. Like, hey, I'm struggling. Okay, so she helped pay for something or whatever. I never forgot that, and so now it's time to pay that back. And it's very important that you kind of remember that. It's that those are important things in life, and that you had great parents. I did. Well, I would say I had a great mom. So I'm very close to my mother and my grandfather. I also had the same. I also had the same. Very nice table you put together. Have a great weekend and week. Thanks, Slim, and I appreciate that. We'll try. You never know what the weeks and stuff bring to you. All right, this one here is from Steve. Steve says his snubby is the Colt Cobra 2017. That's a good choice. I've seen those. Those are really nice. One thing I like about them is when feeling them and holding them in your hands, they feel like they are built to last. They don't have that feeling like it's kind of fragile a little bit. And I'm a really big fan of the new Colt revolvers. I've said that many times over. I'm a really big fan. They've actually kind of changed me a little bit because in the past I wasn't really the biggest fan of them. I was more of the old Smith and Wesson revolver fan. But honestly, what kind of dethroned that for me was honestly the 2020 Python. Never would have thought I'd ever be saying that I would choose the Python over ever. But the new ones that are out, I absolutely love them. I shoot them at the range. I love them. And obviously, I'm going to plug it again. You got to have the Deer Hollow grips by Deer Hollow Enterprises if you're gonna rock your new Python, and obviously your old one too. If you want to just refresh your grips on your old one, if you have a beautiful old vintage Python that the grips are really ratty, uh, Deer Hollow Enterprises is the place to go. I've got my panel grips already because I am still kind of waiting around to see if the 2.5 blued snubby ever comes to light, which it has not. I have, had my name on a list through an FFL locally in town for a very long time. Colt has not done any movement on it. In fact, it kind of ticks me off a little bit because they they talked about the announcement of the Anaconda in 45 Colt. That was after they did the announcement of the Snubby Python, and that's now people are getting those available. So where in the heck is that blued 2.5 Snubby? Not seen one available. I have seen that I think it's the 5 for sure. The 5 and the 3-inch were allocated on the list of people that were getting them, but have not seen anything lately from the 2-inch blued Python. So I'm kind of waiting on that. Then again, I mean, I'm not complaining because I'm kind of tied up busy doing things in the backyard and building all that. So a lot of the money flow is going there right there. So I'm actually shouldn't be complaining about it not being available right now because I'm not really ready for it anyway. So I wouldn't want to have to make any kind of drastic changes up in that right now. So I need to get back on my feet financially. So anyway, but I just want to throw that out. Anyway, a little bit of a rant, right? Okay. Here's from my good buddy Led over there. Led has an awesome channel, obviously doing a lot of cool knife stuff. He does do the Knife Saturday show, and that's really cool about a lot about case knives and stuff, which I like. Great video. Have a great rest of your weekend, and that is from Led. Sean Lee, morning, y'all. Love seeing comparison videos. I've only got one end frame, the Model 28. That's a cool one. That's actually my favorite of the bunch. I like the 28 over the 27. It's cool. It's a highway patrolman. I used to have one. I had a 4-inch. Actually, I had a 6-inch. Sold that. Then got a 4-inch. Then sold that. Such is life. um, some people think that's sarcasm. Such is life. Well, it's true. Such is life. Get real. All right. Hoping to one day get my hands on an old school 29. A great show and nice table. I hope you do too. They are cool. Although I do prefer my new one. Joe P. Swig of coffee from my man Joe. Good morning, JW. I can't explain, but when the 29-2 appears in a vid, I know I'm going to have a good day. Okay. Well, we'll have to make sure it makes an appearance more often. Not that you're having always a bad day, right? All right. Here's one. All right, my man, Lion Quest Fitness. I loathe the key lock, but I've scoured the internet several times to try to corroborate a key lock causing a Smith and Wesson revolver to jam. Uh, yeah, that's I've kind of looked around that thing too. I've only come across one actual person has had this happen. It's always an anecdotal stories uh, about this happening. I'm not saying it can't happen if the parts is defective, and I see plenty of complaints about clocked barrels. Assuming you're talking about the ones that were canted. I've heard a lot about that too, and seen a lot of evidence of that. I've not had one. But you just don't find actual cases of the key lock causing the gun not to fire. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Mitchell chimes in. He said he wouldn't even waste the cash on a new one. So I know the key lock is really that's such a. I know it's like a love hate thing with people. I'm pretty neutral on it. I can live with it. I can certainly live without it. But I mean, hey, they released the new lineup. We had a 36 on the channel, the new one, without the key lock. We had it. We looked at it. We showed it and everything. Cool gun. Horrible to shoot. They also have the Model 10 and they also have the Model 19. It's kind of cool because it's like they're both no key lock, which I mean, if they're doing that already, I mean, they might as well eliminate it. That would be the smartest thing they could do. But we've kind of rehashed this or hashed this out before. The Model 19. I mean, I had an interest in the new Model 19. I currently don't have a Model 19. I've sold them all off. But I wouldn't be opposed to buying that new one, that new 4-inch no key lock Model 19. It looks like it already has awesome grips on it, so I kind of wouldn't be opposed to having one of those. Uh, and I'm kind of on the fence about that Model 10 too. That Model 10 little 4-inch, just because of the way it looks. I know it's kind of like, well, if you're gonna have a K-frame, the 19 is kind of the best K-frame 4-inch. It holds 357 Magnum if you want that power, or you can get that Model 10, which is just K-frame again, only 38s, light 38s at that. Even though I think it's rated for plus speed, I think all of them are now. But anyway, I don't know. Do I have the money for that kind of stuff right now? No. Is it wishful thinking? Yeah, and that's fine. We can do that. All right, what do we have here? Actually, before we get into that, I wanted to kind of show a couple of tools that if and when I go to the range, or if you do, or if you actually just have a workbench, not even taking it to the range, a workbench. I have a workbench. I'm sure everybody here has a workbench. Some of the stuff that I have, actually range stuff wise, Unup Lula. Mine is yellow so I can see it and I don't misplace it. So I always see it. In fact, a lot of things I'm starting to use where I've been putting yellow or fluorescent colors so I can see it. 2-ounce hammer, smooth face, ball peen hammer, smooth face. Got this from a really good friend of mine. He is a jeweler for many years. I got this from him. This was his personal hammer that he's had forever and used forever. I've got it from him now, and it's passed on to me. So 2-ounce ball peen hammer. Brass rod. Yes, brass rod. This is about, I don't know, 10, 11 inches of this right here. And you can see it's gotten definitely hammered on it quite a bit because a brass rod is very important to have. You got squibs and stuff like that happens. If you're a hand loader, it happens a lot. I don't care how crazy perfect you want to claim you are, it happens. Squibs happen. It also happens with factory ammo, so don't think that that's a a security blanket that you should trust in, but it does happen, and the squib rod is very useful. This one is thick enough to where it'll handle taking a pounding, and it'll even go down the barrel of, say, a 9mm diameter. So that's always good to have. Speed loaders and stuff like that. Renaissance wax, which we talked about. Thank you to whoever actually originally mentioned that. I'm sorry I forgot who you were. But this is cool stuff to have. So thank you for mentioning that. If I'm going to use case lube, Hornady, One Shot. I don't get sponsored by any of this stuff. I mean, let's get real. Nobody's going to sponsor me. Hornady One Shot. I have no problems with mentioning that because I actually think it's one of the best case lubes out there. If you're going to buy this stuff, a lot of times I do get lazy, especially when when I used to load a lot of 9mm. That's great. Spread out all the casings on a cookie sheet, hit them with that real quick, and then throw them in there. A lot of times, to be honest with you, I know I can't even believe I'm going to admit this to you. I would take ballistol, put it on my hands, light coat, and just, mix them up in a bag and then throw them in there. Probably bad practice, but that's just what I did. I'm a real cheap and fast kind of person, especially when it comes to certain things. So anyway, all right, what is the Underdog revolver, right? Okay, let's go ahead and open it up because this is the case I keep it in. That's the case I got it in. And it is a Colt. Wow. Would you be surprised? It's actually an older Colt, too. It's a Colt Trooper Mark III. 4-inch, 357 Magnum. It's even got its original grips. It doesn't, I've seen some of the grips where they're beveled. This one's not. Not sure what that's all about. There is a misconception a little bit that you can just throw like Python grips on this. That's not the case. If you actually take these off, this whole setup here was actually a lot different than most of all the Colt's internal workings, including the grip setup, because they're different. They are different under there. You take that off, there's different fittings and fixtures on there that's not the same. Really weird. Really weird. Okay. So yeah, if you have a Mark III Trooper, this is, not to be confused with I think the older Trooper, I think it's just called the Colt 357 or something like that, or Trooper. It's a little bit different. It's got a different barrel. It's more of a Python size and look without, I guess, all the bells and whistles really, but just a workhorse of a gun. This one here, I like it because I like the way it looks. It has that old school 70s cop, service revolver. That's why I like it. This is kind of the reason why I didn't really bother to mess with a Model 19 anymore, is because even though I just the same size and configuration, I do like it. Not that I'm running out and blasting magnums out of this thing. I mostly just shoot 38s. But I really enjoy having it. It's cool. The action's buttery smooth. It's a Colt. It's a classic. It's in really good shape considering, it's got a couple wear marks and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's in really good shape. And I've taken it apart internally and cleaned it all up and ballistalled it and everything. And so it's held up really nice. I don't think I've ever looked at the serial number on it. I'm sure it's quite a vintage piece, but anyway. But there it is. That's the revolver that is kind of an underdog in my current collection right now that I actually haven't talked about a whole lot, but I figured it deserved coming out to showcase. If you guys want to see a standalone video with it, give a thumbs up to the show here, and then let me know if you want to see a standalone video on that. We'll do that. Show it up a little bit up close and everything. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in every Saturday with me, and we'll see you next week.